I start cutting, I'm gonna pin the hair on top using my duck clips. Now, I'm gonna pin the hair around the parietal ridge area. If you guys don't know what the parietal ridge area is, it's that area from the top where it meets the sides. All right, it's that point on the sides or the corner of the head, basically is best that I could describe it. So I'm putting my duck clips there all around, really parting it to where the hair wants to lay down naturally. You don't want to get any hair you don't want to force any hair up top that doesn't want to lay over. So always remember that you want to get it as smooth and as crisp, neat as possible. So using my endless cordless masters, putting on the 2 guard with the lever open, I'm going up about half of that, basically just debulking. I'm making sure that I feed the hair into the teeth of the blades. That way I can have a hard line of demarcation to where I can see how far I'm actually going up. You need to visually set in a guideline to where you can see first before you actually start blending up. So now that I got the rest of the bulk off, I'm gonna clipper over comb the rest of the sides. Now this isn't the final clipper over comb. Basically I'm just building the shape now, so I won't have to work as hard for later. So right now I'm basically setting my comb at like a 90-degree angle, and I'm basically cutting off all the hair that sticks out.
HustleDreamProduction.
So using my Babyliss skeleton trimmers, I'm gonna set in my bald line. Now the way I'm setting in this bald line is I'm gonna go around my client's ear. I'm basically saving the C cup because I want to make that real defined and I want to keep that area. So I'm just gonna drop it in the back. He wanted sort of like a drop fade, so I kind of put my own twist on it, right? I want basically when people to see this haircut, I want it to look so different that it's not your average blend. So that's why I started, doing these blends and doing my bald lines the way I do them, because I don't want my haircuts looking like everybody else's. So that's one thing that you have to create uniqueness in your own blend, your way, your style. Now using my Babyliss shavers, I'm gonna make the bottom half razor bald. I'm not going all the way up to that line because it's gonna be real difficult for you to take out that line if you go all the way to the top. So I'll leave about a 1/4 inch room just for that bald line transition. What I'm basically trying to do is make this another transition by making it razor bald at the bottom. So going back with my Endless Masters with the lever open, I'm going up about a 1/2 inch, and I'm gonna make sure I keep that consistent all the way through. I'm gonna go over the guideline multiple times so every hair is at that lever open length. So the same thing with the one guard open, I'm going up that same width, making sure I keep it consistent all the way around. You want to make sure you commit to these guidelines. You want to set these guidelines perfectly in there, all right? Don't worry about if you're going too high or, you know what I mean? As long as you set the width the same exact way that I'm setting it, it's gonna come out right. Just commit to these guidelines.
HustleDreamProduction.
So right now I'm putting on the 2 guard open and I'm running that clipper straight up. Now normally I don't use the 2 guard, I'll just go in with the clipper over comb, but since sometimes I'll go back and use the 2 guard, I'm gonna just go ahead and just use it instead of clipper over combing right away. What I'm doing is making it easier for me to clipper over combing because I know what shape that the 2 guard is building right now. So as long as you just kind of run that guard straight up, you'll be fine with clipper over combing. It'll make that process a lot more easier. Now going back with my clipper over comb, now here is where I do my detail work and I really build the shape how I want it. So right now I'm setting it with the clipper straight up, like at a 90-degree angle, and really honing in on, you know, how I'm taking off this hair. I'm running the clipper straight up, that way everything blends in. I'm looking at my client side to side just so that I could get that shape the way I want it. Now going back with my 1 guard, I'm basically just cleaning up that area between the 1 and the 2 in a flick out motion. So closing the lever on that 1 guard, what you're doing is basically just softening up that middle line so it's easier for you to take it out with the next step. So now that the line is a lot softer because you softened it up with the 1 guard close, Right now I got my 0 guard with the lever closed, and in a flick out motion, I'm flicking out that middle line. Now keep in mind, I'm using my corners throughout this whole process. I want to basically, nitpick at this blend. You know what I mean? I don't want to take off more than I can chew. So I'm really taking my time with using my corners and knocking out this middle line as I go. HustleDreamProduction. So in the same way that I softened up that line with the 1 guard with the lever closed, it's the same thing that I'm doing with this bald line. I got the lever halfway and I'm just softening it up so I can come behind it a lot easier with the next step. Now with the lever fully closed in a flick out motion, flick out that bottom line. Now keep in mind that I'm starting below the line and I'm flicking to the line, and I'm gonna adjust my lever as I go up. Alright, so the most important part of the blend is how you do your detail work. Alright, so what I like to do is I like to use my mirror. I like to look away from the blend just to give my eyes a rest, kind of like a reset, because when you're cutting hair and you're looking at the blend, sometimes you can get lost in with your eyesight. So I go back in using my corners, debulking, and just cleaning up my work. Alright, the most important part of the blend is how well you do your detail work. Alright, so now I'm going to take out my duct clips, saturate my client's hair with water so I could prepare to do some shear work. So now that I have the hair saturated with water, I'm gonna start by parting the hair. I'm gonna part the front of the bang in a triangle-like shape, and everything else, I'm basically gonna force it to hang over on the sides. So now that everything is hung over on the sides, I'm gonna part the hair little by little, dragging everything over to the side, and I'm gonna clipper over comb. Now one thing that I'm not gonna do is clipper over comb everything the same length on the side. It's not a big problem if it hangs over slightly, alright, just slightly, but ultimately I'm gonna try to match everything up to the sides. that I have everything clipper over combed on the sides, I'm basically gonna take out my duck clip and work on the bang. I'm gonna take off about an inch and then work my way back towards everything else, making sure everything else is even. So now I'm gonna blow dry in style with my roller, basically just rolling everything to the back, making sure that I keep my blow dryer angled towards my brush. That way I won't burn the scalp.
HustleDreamProduction.
So lastly, as I finish the cut, I'm gonna use some styling powder to put in my client's hair. I found this to be the best kind of natural hold that you could possibly have. So if you don't have some, styling powder for your clients, make sure you get some, because a lot of your clients, but in general, the barber industry is moving towards this kind of matte finish look anyway. So you hardly see any like shiny gel products anymore. So that's why I use the styling products, because it gives it that natural look with a lot of hold. Listen, let me tell you why they call me 360. When they sit in my chair, I spin them in the full 360 and they come out looking like,
damn son, where'd you find this?
YouTube! This is the cut. And if you like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Also, HustleDreamProduction, that's my brother, he does all my beats. His YouTube channel will be linked in the description below. Make sure you go give him a follow. Otherwise, if you want to know where you can find any tools that you see in this video, links will be in the description below. You guys can follow me on Instagram, Snapchat. My Snapchat is Jeezy360 and my Instagram is 360Jeezy. But it's your boy 360Jeezy, and I'm out of here. Cheers.